So today we talk about getting your athlete to motivate themselves. And I'm going to give you a blueprint and some things that my parents did that helped me to love the game so much that I started motivating myself. And that's the key. That should be your only goal. And I'm going to get more into that right now. Okay, so as a parent, if you have a kid that motivates themselves to practice, you have struck gold. The reason is because they have found their dream and purpose. And when they have that purpose, they will push themselves. And all you need to do is support them. So if you have that type of kid that's already motivating themselves to practice, what you want to do is buy him that new bat, buy him that glove, get him some hitting lessons or her some hitting lessons. Whatever they need, you do it, because that's going to allow, like, if they're already thinking in that mindset where they're so hungry and they love the game so much, they're going to push themselves to be the best they can. So on your side, that is exactly what you want to do. Support them in any way you possibly can. Okay. Now, if your kid does not love the game, you don't want to force them to, because no matter how hard you push, they will never be able to reach their full potential. And that's honestly the truth, because they just don't want it. It's not in the cards for them. And that's okay if they don't want it. You shouldn't need to push this dream on them. This has to be their dream, and you should find what they really are into and help them in any way possible. I wanted to add that because it's very true. If you know your kid, if your kid doesn't love the game, like, they love something else, then, don't push, don't force it upon them, because no matter what you're going to do, it's just not going to play out the way you want to. However, if you do not have a kid that motivates themselves but really loves the game, your goal and only goal should be how to get your kid to motivate themselves to practice or whatever it is. You know what I mean? If you can get them to motivate themselves, again, you struck gold. So what can you do to help your kid become motivated? Well, first, I wanted to show you Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's created by Abraham Maslow. And who was Abraham Maslow? He was an American psychologist who was best known for creating the Maslow hierarchy of needs, a theory of psychological health predicated on fulfilling innate human needs and priority motivation and culminating in self-actualization. So as you can see here on the right hand side, you see at the bottom, it says physiological needs. We have air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and reproduction. And then on the top, we have safety needs, personal security, employment, resources, health, and property. So those two layers right there, those are your layers. And I feel like if you're, part of this mini course, you've basically taken care of those. So what we want to do is get your kid to the top, which is, the desire to become the most that one can be. And if they, if they can get to that top, then they go. And I mean, when I say go, I mean they play and practice to their best ability, because they're going to push themselves. So how do we get them to that goal? Well, as you can see on the third tier, it says love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection, esteem, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, and freedom again. And the top is self-actualization, desire to become the most that one can be. So we're trying to get them to the top. That's the one where they'll start motivating themselves. They'll start pushing themselves in a good way, and they'll reach their full potential. So your goal is to get them past level 3 and level 4 so they can be at level 5. Okay, because I think you already have level 2 completed or secured. So first, you need to practice with them. So I'm going to explain how you can get them up that ladder. So first, you need to practice with them, but you need to make it fun. And I know that everyone says that, but you really should make that a priority. Make it as fun as possible. Make it be you guys' thing, like your thing, and you're bonding, and that's your relationship. For example, Every Saturday when I was younger, and let's say I didn't have a game, me, my dad would be out there, and my mom would be out there as well. And my dad would be with some wiffle balls, and I know I've probably already told this story, but he'd be out with wiffle balls, or we'll do sunflower seeds, or we'll do little acorns, and I'll have a bat or I'll have a PVC pipe, and he'd be saying to himself, or he'd be saying to me, hey, don't let me strike you out. I'm Roger Clemens. Remember, Roger Clemens was one of the best pitchers at the time. Or he'll say, I'm Pedro Martinez, and he would do their wind up, and then I would hit it. And that became our thing. And every weekend, I would always look forward to that if I didn't have a game, because that was the way we practiced. And if you know, like what I shared with you, what level is that? That's the third tier, because that's like love and belonging. You have that family, that sense of connection. It was our bonding time. So I enjoyed that. But at the same time, it was practicing. It was how I got better, because we would be out there and it was no time limit. The world just stopped. It was just us practicing and playing and having a blast, And the second thing, he would be giving me, and my mom would be giving me a lot of encouragement. That a boy, if I hit him, let's say I got a hit off Roger Clemens, he'd be like pumped up for me, like, yeah, that a boy, he'd be fired up as well. And my mom as well, she'd be excited too. And so that was the fourth tier, which means that was the self-esteem. I grew to, since they gave me a lot of encouragement, that was a lot of that was recognition, that was status, that was encouragement, that built my self-esteem, that confidence in myself, because I had the people that were around me, that loved me, that joined in with us. This was our thing. And I was getting a lot of, encouragement. So that was tier 3, and that was tier 4, the second one, with a lot of encouragement. That was the fourth tier. And so what that allowed me to do, since we were doing this every weekend, what happened was when I went out to the games, I started, getting results. And what else does that do? As far as my team, I started to belong because I got results. And then all of a sudden, my self-esteem, my confidence in myself grew, because all that work we were putting in every week, and all that of the family sharing those, that positive emotions, and that belonging that we had together. So what did that make me want to do? Well, that made me want to practice. That motivated me, because now I had my belonging. I knew who I wanted to be around. I knew what I wanted to do. I loved the bond with my family, and my self-esteem was high, because all I was getting was praise from my family. They were enjoying the success with me. And so, like I said, we would do every weekend if I didn't have a game. And then it would start showing up in the game, where I started getting hits, and I started hitting the ball harder. And next thing you know, I wanted to motivate myself. And then from there, I could see my purpose. I could see my dream, and I could see how real it was. And that's what led me to where I am today. So I also wanted to add this. The third thing you want to do is find out what they desire, so you can use that as rewards. So they gave me positive, a lot of self-talk. I guess it's not self-talk, but they gave me a lot of encouragement. And then I would get rewards. For example, in that story, he was Roger Clemens, and I hit it. He'd be so excited, that a boy. But before that, he was saying, hey, if you get this hit, you'll get a Kit Kat. And I love chocolate, so I would want to get that Kit Kat. But what that also did was make my mind stronger, because I focused. I wanted that hit. And that's the thing about being in the batter's box, is that you need to have a strong mind. You don't want them to win. You want to win, and your mind needs to be strong. Like nothing's going to beat you. So when I had that reward in front of my face, it was like, oh man, I got to get it. So that allowed me to focus. And then I ended up getting those results. So that was just something I just wanted to say. Let's keep it going though. So also, here are a few more ideas to keep it fun and help them motivate themselves and ultimately reach their full potential. So I have a kid, I think I shared, good pitcher. He loves pitching. Okay, so when we're doing a pitching lesson, what I do is we'll do tic-tac-toe. So I'll put up like some squares, like, tic-tac-toe, and I would play against him. And we just having fun. You should see his face. He just lights up because he loves playing this game and he loves facing me. So what happened? What do I do? If we go back to tier number 3, so this is our thing. So when he's pitching, I make him feel good. I make him I make him feel that he belongs. I'm like, hey man, you got this. And then we're playing, and I'm competing with them. I'm like, oh man, don't let me beat you. And he's focusing. He's getting his mind right. He's excited. And we'll play tic tac toe, and then I'll also tell him when he hits a spot, I'll be pumped up for him. Like, oh man, that was a great one. He's learning how to like develop his mechanics. He's learning how to control the ball. What is he, like 11 years old? So, to him, I would give him that self-esteem, especially if he beats me. If he beats me, he feels on top of the moon. Oh man, I beat an MLB player, and he has a confidence. You just see him, he walks up with his shoulders high, and he's just like so excited. But what is that doing? That's giving him the tier number 3, love and belonging. He's starting to see his purpose. Like he already kind of senses it, and he doesn't know yet because he wants to pitch. He enjoys being on the mound. Like he really enjoys it. And then the other thing is that when I give him that positive, when I give him that encouragement, and then he beats me, he gets that self-esteem, that status, that recognition, and he feels very good. So what do you want? What else do you want? That's what you want to do. And then according to his dad, now he's been practicing. And he goes and pitches by himself, and because he wants to beat me. He wants to keep beating me. So I always tell him like, hey, we might do this game this time. And he gets ready for it. So he keeps practicing because he wants to beat me. So that's something that you could do. Like I said, if you have a kid that pitches, play tic-tac-toe, X and O's, and sometimes you got to beat them, and let them understand and let them lose. But then you also let them win, and then they feel it, and they feel good, and it's really cool. So the next one I have to tell you is I have another kid, part of the academy. I do one-on-one lessons with him, and he's older, about 15, 16 years old. So what we would do is we hit off the pitching machine, because I like to hit off the pitching machine because, and this is not a baseball tutorial as far as mechanics or anything, but I like hitting off the pitching machine. So what we do is I'll challenge him off the pitching machine, and same thing, when we're hitting, I'm giving him, I'm like, yeah, man, that a boy. And like, I'm pumped up for him every time he hits a ball hard. If we do like hard contact or something, and he's trying to beat me. And then on the other side, I give him positive, I give him encouragement. That a boy, I'm pumped for him when he gets, 7 and 9 hard hit balls, and he's focused. And then, I'll get out there and I'll hit maybe 6 balls hard, so he feels good because he beat me. And also when he beats me, I make it known. I yell in the hitting facility. I'm like, yeah, he beat me. I want him to feel, that he beat me, and that status and that recognition. And what that does for him, oh man, it gets him so excited, and he puffs his chest out, and he's all cool. You know what I mean? He feels good about himself. And like I said, once he beats me, I yell it out there, and I make it known that he beat me in front of everybody. And it gives him that feeling of status. It gives him that feeling of recognition. it builds his self-esteem. And, you know, there's, like I said, there's times where I just beat him. I don't want him to win all the time. They need to learn how to lose too, because that's how the game is. But I'm just sharing with you things that keeps them excited. And I'm not telling you all the time I lose, because I definitely don't. I want them to lose because they need to understand how to lose and understand that it's okay to lose. And then once they get over that and they come back because they don't want to lose, they're practicing every week because they don't want to lose to me. So then boom, they start getting better and better. Next thing you know, they're on the field and they're just bam, 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 hitting line drives, hitting hard balls. You know, he just went to a showcase. It's the Futures game, New York Futures game for PBR, and he went off. He went off. Every bat was productive. He had like 5 or 6 RBIs the first day, had about 2 or 3 hits. And I'm not that person that saying, all right, you need to get hits. I want hard contact. And that's what he was doing, was consistent hard contact every at bat. I think I seen that he had 1 soft hit ball, and it was like an infield single. And, you know, but like, just because of him, you know, he's belonging because we're practicing together and he enjoys it and he feels the love and the support. And then also I give him a lot of encouragement. And when he beats me, I shake his hand. I said, well done, you know. Well done. You beat me. Okay. And he, you know, he pops his chest out. He feeling so good because he beat me. He'll kind of rub it in. He'll talk some crap, and I just shake my head and say, okay, attaboy. All right, I'll get you next time. You know, and then next time, you know, I might have to get him. You know, but yeah, he starts practicing after that because, again, that satisfies tier number 3 and tier number 4, and then boom. You know, throughout the week, they start working. They motivate themselves. And then the last one I have is little girl. She just started playing, she's like 6 years old and playing softball. And me and her, I'll get out there and we'll do a glove challenge. Just want to see, you know, fielding ground balls. And it just be me versus her. And again, I'm giving her, you know, the belonging, that friendship, that sense of connection. And then when she's catching it, I give her, you know, a lot of encouragement. Hey, that's a girl. Yes. And I'm excited for her every time she catches. And then, you know, like I said, she beats me and, you know, she wants to keep practicing. And here's the thing, like when it comes to her, like I did lessons with her brother, and you know, she would just be there and she, you know, she's a little girly girl, and she would see, and I would bring her in and say, hey, come on, come and hit, you know, and I started teaching her. And now she just had her first game last week and she got a hit. And it was just like, to me, I was like, you know, I have the video. I might even show you the video of her.
That's how we get better at swinging that bat. Well, you're ready. Here it comes. Yes! That's it! That's it right there! Nice job!
But it just, you know, it was amazing just to see her. You know, last year she had never played softball, and now she's hitting softball. So like, to me, that was pretty cool to see her do that. And like, I was so excited for her and so happy. And I'm going to go to her game and give her some support. But that gives her that love and belonging. And also that gives her that self-esteem, you know. And then what she want to do is she's going to keep practicing, which she has. And that's why we've been doing lessons together, you know. So I just wanted to share with you a few little stories of people that I've worked with and that I'm going to continue work with, and how I go about it to get them up to, you know, the top of the pyramid right here, so that they can start motivate themselves. They love the game, motivate themselves, and be able to be successful. And I think you can model that. It's not that hard. Just take your kid out, have fun. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, but but teach them. I'm not joking around the entire time. I'm teaching them the fundamentals. I'm teaching them the mechanics, but I make it in a fun way, and I build them up all the way top, all the way to the top of the pyramid. So I have another way you can motivate your kid, and it's something my parents did with me, and now I'm doing it with my students, and I'll explain. So basically, by my house, where I grew up, it was San Bernardino, California, and they have regionals when it comes to the Little League World Series. So basically, every time the Little League World Series would come, my parents would take me to this regionals. That's where you had to win, or else you can, go up the ladder to have a chance of going to the World Series. So after, my team had lost, or even if my team didn't lose, we would still go, and I would watch the games, and I would sit next to my parents because I really enjoy the game, and I loved to see the kids. They were about my age. Some were even, we started going when I was like 8 years old, and they were 12, and so I looked up to them, and I'm like, oh man, I want to be out there. But I was sitting on the side of them, and they would ask me, hey, what do you notice? And I would be like, oh man, that catcher has a good arm. He's throwing the ball all the way to second on his knees. And then they would ask me, hey, what else? What else do you notice? I'm like, oh man, that kid right there, he can field the ball very well. And look, he has range. And so then what that did for me, that motivated me. And when we would go home and we would practice, again, have that family time, my dad would say something like, you remember that catcher, his arm was strong, so now we should do a strengthening program for your arm. And I wouldn't even hesitate. The fact that I seen other kids and I seen that I could be them, I could throw as hard as them, I could be as agile, quick as them, I can hit the ball as far as them. I seen that I could compete on that level, but I seen that they were doing it at a higher level, which made me want to go out and practice and get better results. So as I finished up the video, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh man, there's another way to motivate them. So from the age of 8, we used to go until I was about 13 years old. And I used to love it, man. I used to love it because I got to see myself out there. I knew I can hang with them, and it motivated me. And then when I went home, I would want to be on the same radar as them. I wanted to have the same skill level as them, so we would work. And again, we still kept it fun, but we were working on things to improve because I seen the other kids do it. So basically, you can take that, you can model that. So if you have a kid that's in travel ball, if you are close to, let's say they're 8 years old, 9 years old, but they're starting to play some form of travel ball. Maybe it's house league or whatever league it is. If you're close to a site where they do Little League World Series, such as like the regionals or whatever it is, you can take them there and sit next to them and ask them, say, hey, what do you notice? And let them tell you, because when they notice, then when you go and practice, you can point that out. You can say, hey, you remember that kid? He had a strong arm, so let's do a shoulder, let's do a strengthening program to get your arm strong. And they're going to be like, heck yeah, because they've seen someone else and they know they can compete. Another question I want to I want you to ask your kid is, when you're there, tell them, do you think you can play with them? And get their response. Have them say, yeah. Like, let them tell you, yeah, I can play with them. They're not better than me. They're not much better than me. Let them say that to you. I think that's huge, because if they say it to you, they're confident, and then they're going to go and work to get the other skills so that they can be better. But like I said, if you have a kid that's 8, 9 years old, tell them about, go to the games. Like I said, those games, and have them watch, and you just sit them right next to you. Sit them right next to you and ask them, hey, what do you notice? Oh, you notice? Oh, he can hit the ball far. Oh, wow. And let them, tell you what they notice, and you just pick up on it and add it into, your practice mix. So if you have a high school kid, maybe you go to a college game. I know there's colleges nearby. Let them, let them go out there and see that they see the competition. They're going to be competitive because they do want to be out there, and that's going to motivate them. If you have a college kid, if you have a high school kid, take them to a minor league game. But minor league game or a college game. If you have a college kid, take them to a minor league game. Let them start seeing it and getting motivated. Because I know that happened with me, and I know that will happen with your kids. So that was just something that I wanted to share with you. And basically what I do is when I'm doing one-on-one lessons, I would schedule where, maybe I would have the little guys normally come in at, like, let's say 5:30 p.m. or 5 o'clock p.m., whatever time that is. And then I would have my older guys come in at 6 or 5:30, so later. Have the young kids, get them out first, and then the older kids come second. But sometimes I would switch it. So if I have a guy that's in travel ball, I'll have a kid that's just a little bit older, and I have him hit before. So then I would let that kid, and I'll tell him, hey, come 15 minutes early. So then that kid come and see that kid, and he sees them hit. And as a kid, you're comparing yourself. So you're like, oh, he's not that far removed from me. He's only maybe a year older, and those kids get competitive and they want to be better. So that's just another way of how I do things to help my kids get better and help them mentally stay motivated so that they can get results. Okay, so I just wanted to jump on here and say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.